Well, now that we talked a lot about a lot of black news
Yeah.
and white news, so there was this. I don't know if you saw it, but and to be honest, this is one of those things where I wanted to be ignorant to it and not look into it, so I didn't feel like I was losing brain cells. But are you familiar with Matt Rife?
Sounds familiar.
So he's a comedian that he's been doing this for a while. He was on Wild 'N Out for a while, but he blew up recently. He just hit a TikTok algorithm that like took him out of here,
Uh-huh.
and just as quickly as you go up, people immediately wanted to tear him down. You know, the typical thing.
Yeah.
People got offended because well, to give more context, people were like women were throwing themselves at him like he's a new heartthrob, all that kind of stuff. So, he was able to transcend a lot faster because of that reason, because that was a lot of the comments, and he got the women audience. Now, what happened was he made a comment, a joke about, and I don't want to put this on him, so because I forget the joke, but it was something about like domestic violence or something akin to being negative against women. Now, he's a comedian. This is what comedians do. Women comedians do the same thing to men. This is comedy, right? But I think what the problem was is that women were following him because of his looks, and that was the reason why they wanted to support his comedy, was mostly just based on how he looks, not necessarily that I think they liked his comedy.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that the second that he's doing his profession, the whole reason why you're even aware of him in the first place, then people get offended
Yeah.
because he made a joke, and then they're upset, right? So it's like that kind of thing. So basically, everybody wanted to tear him down. Now all of a sudden, oh, he's not funny. Blah 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 blah. When the whole time before that, he was doing crowd work and everybody was like laughing and it's haha in the comments,
But it is mad.
because that's what blew him up. And then now it's just he's not even that funny anyway, and so forth. And I'm not defending him, but it is something that I did notice happen, because you just see the switch happened right after he made that joke. That everybody started finding a reason to just hate on every little thing.
Yeah.
So what happened recently is supposedly he was messing with 5 or 6 women, and I didn't do my journalistic research because I don't feel like it. 5 or 6 women at the same time. And I don't know why women do this, and this is why I wanted to bring it up. Whenever women get caught in a situation where one guy is messing with like 5, 3, 4, 6, whatever number of women at the same time, why is it that women come together and try to do a kumbaya moment and then try to use that as a way to get back at the man?
I never understood it. I mean, I get it in a way, but
no. So tell me, what you get about that?
What I get is like, damn, like he was playing all of us, and we all were invested in this guy, and all we were falling for him, and like he really tried to play us and tried to like think we're all stupid, that he could get away with messing with us all at once. So it's like we're gonna expose him together, like nigga, you're stupid. Like, look, we figured it out. You're not smarter than us. That's how I get it from that perspective.
And then what?
Just cut him off. Now he got to start from scratch. Get your roster up again. Sorry, try again. You lost 5 at once. So now, like, imagine you had a solid roster you could depend on at any time. Now you lost all 5 at once because they figured it out.
Okay.
That's the only way I get it. I've never been in a situation like that. But
from a man's perspective,
you know what I would say though, if I ever was in a situation like that, I wouldn't be kumbaya. I would just cut ties, and like I'm like you could relate a message to him. I'm done with all you guys.
And here's my thing, right? Because I get what women are trying to do. They're trying to be solidarity. He was such a bad person, and let's all come together.
And not even like the solidarity, but just like he's not gonna get away with this, so let's shit on him together at least. And then I'm not gonna be your friend after that.
So you sound like you're kind of with them on that one. So for me, it's a little weird. So basically, what the situation happened was, I'm not familiar with what it was. I don't know if it was a performance, a panel, or whatever. But like all of the people that he was all of the women that he was messing with at the same time, they were in some like auditorium with a bunch of people in a crowd, and then they were all together, shitting on him.
Yeah.
To me, it's a little weird because it's like, it's not the flex or the power move that people think it is, because it's almost like collectively saying like he played all of us and he had sex with all of us and we want the world to know and we hate him. There's nothing to gain from that, especially from the man's perspective. He's probably looking at this video like, Wow, man.
Well, yeah, that is too much. Like, it's one thing to come together privately and then all decide what we're going to do together. It doesn't even have to be
But
we're all
even
going to
that seems
expose.
crazy to me. Why is there anything we need to do collectively
No,
together?
like I mean, like not like together, but it could be like, oh, like all right, like I'm about to cut him off. Like you guys should too, a type of thing. If they don't want to, they want to still continue messing with him. Fine, but
That's so interesting to me.
I don't know. It's like I see both sides. Like I get it in a way of like I'm not about to be sitting there like we're kind of, like you know, it is kind of cringe and corny the whole like. I saw one video like that, which could have been a skit, where it's like the one girl was pretending to meet up with the guy,
And the
and then
other
the rest
girls
of the
there.
girls came around the corner. That's corny and cringe to me. I'm not that invested. If a man doesn't care about me enough to mess with all these women, I'm not gonna care enough to do this whole fucking display of like, look, I'm shitting on you. Like no,
I feel like women are gonna come to this topic on this video. So if you're here, hey. Now I'm not defending him in his actions, and I'm also not aware of what exactly happened because I wasn't there, right? So I'm not gonna pass judgment on something that
yeah,
he might have done. Like I wasn't there. I really don't know if he treated them improperly or whatever he might have done.
yeah,
So I can't judge from that perspective. But from a man's perspective, it's really goofy. Aside from his potential goofy actions, it's really goofy to have all of the people that you were messing with at one time show up in one place to collectively shit on you. Because number one, the way that looks is that you are super pressed.
yeah,
Number two, you're doing, uterus power aligning with each other. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, he still, got what he wanted. So there's no real power. You
I mean, the
can't,
only real power is just the removing yourself from his life
right,
because
which is the more important thing, which
yeah.
which is what I'll get
Which
to.
they could just do silently without even saying much, or even if you want to get your off your chest, say it. But it doesn't have to be this whole unity thing.
Yeah, there doesn't need to be unity
Say
because
what you
all
had to say and block.
all a guy's gonna do, and while it might be vain and superficial and all those misogynistic and chauvinist, whatever other words and adjectives people want to use to describe it, the way a man's gonna look at it is, wow, look at my roster. I
Yeah,
did this,
like
this, this, and
damn.
they're all on the stage together. Like she was this, and this was good, and this was blah blah. And like that's how a man's gonna look at it. So in terms of a power play, because you allowed yourself to be put in that position in the first place, it's always just gonna be a joke
But
to
did you
that
allow
man
yourself to
forever.
put yourself in that position?
I feel like you kind of did in a
I
way.
mean, if you're
If you're not in a relationship with the person, then you do set yourself up to be in a place where
yeah,
they're messing with everybody. It's not like he cheated on,
and you're allowed to do that when you're dating. I mean, the only way that it's wrong is if there's no clear communication that that's what you're doing.
which I highly doubt.
Because there should be, hey, you're just one person I'm dating. I am dating other people. And, like The Bachelor. It's not how the Bachelor show works. Where I'm
That's what
dating multiple
technically
people.
dating.
Yeah, when you're an adult, that's what the term dating is. I think when we say we're dating, like we view it as like we're in a relationship. But I feel like as an adult, yeah, like the word dating, it's like I'm dating you.
Well, I think dating should probably be used as an umbrella term, and then below that there's
Yeah, in a
committed
relationship. Yeah,
relationship, and then there's
talking stage.
dating
We're
around.
we're getting serious.
Yeah,
Or
so
you're just a prospect.
yeah, so that's how I feel about it, and
Yeah.
it definitely
That's where
was.
communication plays a huge role in these. Like humans will have so much better experience if they just talk and just communicate.
And women would have a better experience if they stopped messing with entertainers.
Yeah, because there's
Like,
nothing that's gonna really good come out of it. Honestly,
yeah,
it's most likely not gonna come like anything good's gonna come out of that.
yeah.
With athletes, with entertainers.
And I hate to generalize, but realistically, like a person that's not in a committed relationship that's in those spaces, that's probably why they're not in a committed relationship, because they want to be having six on
Outside.
stage talking about how he beat it down. And I know women hate that. It's like, oh, objectifying and all that other stuff. But from the man's perspective, that's what it is. So if the point is
Some
to
women
try to
think they could change him.
if the point is to try to get back at the man, is kind of what I'm trying to explain to women that want to do the uterus power together.
Yeah, I see. Now that I'm talking about it more. Yeah, like I said, I get it, but I would never be a participant in that. Like never, because that's just so cringe to me. Like no,
He played all of us, and then they take
yeah.
pictures on stage.
And then they still are friends afterwards. Like no,
Yeah, we
or like the
joined.
two girls that like were friends. Like they both dated a guy, and then they both have a mutual hate for him because they're
So
exes
then they
now.
became
they're
friends.
That always has been so weird to me. I'm not about to be friends with somebody who literally shared the same penis with me. Sorry, we're not friends. Like
Yeah, because it's weird. Because it's like at the end of the day, like that's the most, like what's the word? It's almost borderline obsessive. Like
yeah, like
you wanted to
you're
become
centering
friend.
him.
Yeah, like you're for the rest of your life. you're not like one upping him because you're now friends with the person. Like he got both of you. Like that's
Yeah,
just what it is.
it's over.
I'm sure he doesn't care. Like if he cared, he probably would have tried to select you and hold you down, but he didn't care enough to pick you as being the
Yeah,
one and
the
only.
wife.
So
Yeah,
if all of you are collectively together doing this unity, locking arms together, we stand against him. Like you just look like a clown, not to women probably because
no,
they
they
might have been in a
they
situation like
think
that
it's
too.
saying something, and
It's not
they're
saying
not.
anything. It's not saying what you think it is because he's still going to continue the same behavior, do the same things. He's
He's
going
gonna
to get
get a new set.
another new set
Yeah.
that's not going to go on stage, and people take attractiveness and think that that's where things start and end. There's too many attractive people in the world.
Yeah,
Like so, while
that's not everything.
this particular 5 or 6 might be cool, there's 5 or 6 that are even better that you'll never see and
Mm-hmm.
like look way better than these group of people on stage that had their shot at him. So it's always been a
It's
little bit weird to
ego. It's
me.
ego.
Yeah, your ego's
Egos
hurt and you want to tell everybody about how this person hurt you. I
and
so
ego will have you feeling like you're the only baddie and the only good person in the earth for somebody. Like no, like I promise you, there's people that look better. There's people that have better personalities. Like you're not the end all be all.
one thing I was thinking about yesterday, I do a lot of really weird thinking. A lot of weird stuff pops into my mind when I'm doing like a menial task. Like if I'm running, I
Yeah,
hate running. Well, actually, I love running, but like running could get like your mind wanders because it's so repetitive
yeah,
that you stop thinking about the running and you're just like kind of on autopilot.
yeah,
I was thinking about how it kind of really does suck for women because of that emotional component when it comes to sex and relationships. Well, not relationships, but really just mostly when it comes to the sex part because it must hurt so much more like if you give it up and then somebody just ghosts you or like in this situation like I get the hurt aspect of it but I don't know like
yeah. Because my
the,
whole thing is I I'm a woman. I get it too. But as a woman, I also commit. Don't put yourself in a situation where your feelings get tied like that. Like hindsight being 2020, but like a lot of my situations in my life, I wouldn't personally even have sex with somebody who I'm not in a relationship with. You know, at least somebody who made that level of commitment to me. I don't know. It's hard because a part of me feels like you should kind of like even people talk about test drive, but I feel that's more like before you get married. But like I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm a little congested, but yeah, like I feel like you kind of set yourself up. Like if you're like a girl that's messing with a guy, right, and you know he's like he might be honest with you too about like his situation, like maybe what's going on with him. Maybe he's not ready for a relationship, and then you still decide to have sex with him. It's kind of on you. Like I do as a woman, I do sympathize and feel bad because it's like, you know, dang, like you gave up something so personal to another man, and like he still doesn't really want you. But it's like you kind of put yourself in those situations sometimes. Lots of times that's avoidable. Like there's some situations, but yeah, you might have got really manipulated, and like a guy really did you wrong. But lots of times, either the guy is honest or the signs are there, like or he never asked you to be his girlfriend. So it's like you kind of you set yourself up for failure. So it's kind of like
yeah
you know
it's just weird
you feel bad to
so
a certain extent.
that's my thing because like think of it from a man's perspective if there was a woman that played a bunch of guys and she had sex with a bunch of guys do we think that men would go on stage and be locking arms and like taking pictures together like how nuts would that look
I
that would
know
look insane
that
right
would look stupid.
so in the same context as from a man's perspective I look at it in the reverse like it's still the same thing like it's not a power play I
Yeah,
get it he played you all you're upset you want everybody to know that he won't do this again but he will
yeah,
not everybody's gonna care like you also some women might only really just have wanted that from him anyway so
yeah.
he'll be perfectly fine but I wish women would stop doing that because like I also saw the same equivalent but the guy got 5 women pregnant at the same time and they had a shared baby shower together so that would be
That's
another example
sick.
that would be another example of like it's not like the unity isn't the power play that people think it is and you're
It's
not
not.
saying anything by it if anything you're just making it more swaggy for the guy like
Because I actually saw that too with that situation when all the girls came out.
mhm.
Someone was like, "Damn, all of them are like a good eight, good solid 7 8s." He's like, they were like, the nigga was putting up numbers.
Yeah.
If anything, he was getting like praised.
But that's exactly the thing. Like he might have screenshotted that picture
Yeah,
of them all
like his
together, sent it to,
what's future song? My collection.
yeah, and then sent it to the group chat. Like, bro,
Like,
I can't believe this. I can't believe I was able
like
to pull
look at
this
my
off.
roster.
Yeah, pasta and lobster.
Yep.
Yeah, so women stop doing that, and I'm sure all of the feminazis. Oh shit, I can't say that.
You can say it.
I can't say that.
That's right.
We're gonna cut that out. All of the feminists out there that have clicked on this video, I'm sure I lost all of them already within the
I
first.
just need women to understand that lots of times, like, because their end goal is like they're doing it as like a woman empowerment thing, but the whole point of the empowerment is to they feel like it's gonna one up a man or hurt a man, and it's not.
And they want the clout.
Yeah.
And then I saw all the
Yeah, in
women
this
in the
situation is a clout thing. Like,
and all the women in the comments too, like yeah, like blah blah blah, like all the support. What women need to do, especially because this whole action of doing this in the first place was around a man. Women should really pay attention to men instead of paying attention to women's reactions to men.
exactly. Like, pay attention to what men like, dislike, are offended by, hurt by. Like, I feel like the only way to really hurt, in my opinion, to hurt a man, is if like that man really liked you, really wanted you, like, you know, really really wanted you, and it's like some type of, or if you hit him where it hurts, like, you know, like his was it kryptonite? Like, you know, like where it's gonna hurt. That's the only way you can really hurt a man. Like, hit him somewhere that's like he has some type of trauma, some type of trigger, some type of soft point.
Right.
Or if you really are like the girl of the stream, he really wants you, and then you hurt him.
And be very, very careful
Yeah,
with the trauma
out.
stuff because men and women react way differently to that.
He might crash out.
Women will definitely cry, and a man will 100% be more likely to crash out and start. Yeah,
Yeah,
it could get wild from a man's perspective because I've seen people's points get hit, and then it gets crazy.
That's why, like, you know, I gave advice to even my mom, but she's older than me. But I told her, I'm like, don't say, like, you know, when she was arguing with this guy, like, don't say certain stuff like that because, like, you know, you got to tread lightly. Like, you can't, don't talk about somebody's, like, issues, you know, that really can hurt them to the core because that could really be dangerous for you. Like,
especially if it's not warranted. Like, if it's not necessary.
Like, you didn't need to go that far.
If it gets to that point, then that's one thing. But don't
take
that advice.
First,
Don't take that advice.
And I should not be giving advice to my mom. If you're listening to this, I should not be giving advice to somebody 25, 26, 27 years older than me. Like,
do not hit a man where it hurts. You shouldn't hit anybody
you know
where
the
it hurts.
Situation what she was trying to do. And like, that's crazy. You can't say that. Like, come on. That's not even in his control.
Don't hit anybody where it hurts. But what I will say is that men when they have that ego hurt and that ego bruising, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the same type of reaction. Like, it's a sadness, but really it's actually a rage. It's not even an anger. Rage is a step above anger. I have seen it happen. Like,
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, for the feminists, I want to hurt men. There's only certain ways to do it. Like, if a man is real insecure about his height, right? Like, and then you come at him for that, then yeah, like that might really hurt him. Like, if you're like, damn, like I didn't want you anyway. Like, you were just something I was messing with. You too short anyway. Or if it's like something like, you know, out of his control. If it's something with his childhood, maybe like his daddy issues. Like, he's really hurt about not having a father in his life, and you know, certain stuff you could really hurt them, but not everything.
Yeah. So, yep, that's if you want to hurt him in that way. But yeah, doing the, hey, he had sex with all of us guys, let's take a pic together. Yeah. That's not swaggy.
If you're like the girl of his dreams and you go out and like.
And clearly you're not because you're one of many that were.
Cause you know, as a man, there is like maybe a set amount of a woman or even just one that you really, that's like, that you feel like that's like the love of your life and like you would like.
I feel like that's you for me.
Well,
yeah.
You better not be lying.
See,
I'm kidding. No, I'm saying like.
And that's why I can't do anything.
No, like you ever hear like, could they always say like, they always tell a woman like, oh, you know, like some women are scared with dating. Cause they said like there's always this notion that men have this one person that they really can't like ever let go, or that's like the love of their life. So like they might lose that person and still go out and date, but they'll never fully 100% be satisfied or as happy as they would have been with that person, which is such a sad fact.
I'm not saying that that's factual for me, but that's a fact.
Yeah.
Because.
And lots of times it is the people that you fell in love with in your earlier days in life. That's when love is new and fresh.
Right. And women or just, women need to understand that there are a lot of differences between men and women. This grill is making me stutter. There are a lot of differences between men and women, but women should realize that there are a lot of similarities. And one of the similarities is when it comes to a woman's like first time being physically intimate with a man, that first boyfriend, all those first emotions, that translates to men as well. Like, a guy is going to cling on to that first woman that gave them certain experiences and how fun and innocent it might have been, or the good times. Like, men are going to cling on to the same things that a woman would, and not in all cases, just like, and for women, not in all cases.
Yeah.
Some women don't value, you know, those kind of things, but there are men that will never let certain women go because that might have been their first experience with something, or she was just great,
Yeah.
or right person, wrong time, or maybe they fumbled, or any of those things. Men 100% cling on to like the
First
first,
love.
the first love.
Yeah. And I feel like if you don't have that like hold over a man, then nothing you do is really gonna hurt him. Sorry. Woman, sorry to break it to you. Nothing you are is gonna hurt. Like nothing you really do is gonna hurt him that much unless you have some type of a hold on him. Like unless you was such like this dope person that really was like meant something to him. If it was just sex and like and good vibes, he's probably doesn't miss you. I promise you,
Yeah,
he doesn't care.
and also on both sides, what people should realize is
Yeah,
even if you're dope, even if you're cool, even if you're like the
yeah,
flyest person, or you're really just legitimately a real cool person, like everybody would want to be around you,
yeah,
that doesn't matter to everybody.
yeah. It doesn't.
That might matter to most people, but he might have a clone of you somewhere else
Yeah,
that's on the same thing, or he just doesn't value the same things that make you cool to everybody else.
yeah,
So it's also not just about you.
yeah,
It's about how the other person feels too.
yeah.
Um, but yeah. So
So
women, stop
yeah,
doing that weirdo
and you
kumbaya.
made a good point too. Like you don't look to other women to feel like what can we do to hurt him. Like no, if you really want to know what to how to hurt a man, you had to study men. You had to be around men. You need men friendships. You need long term male relationships. Like you can't look to other women to say what can we do to hurt him. What can we do to plot him? No, if you really want to hurt him and be that vindictive, then study the man.
Yeah, you got to
You
study the
could
guy,
figure it out
and
how to do it. There's something.
I guarantee. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's not it. I was done.
I guarantee there's nothing. I guarantee that they weren't around him long enough to figure those things out, because all of the default insults that women tend to use, I don't think in his situation you can kind of use those, because you've had
Yeah,
now
because what's the defaults?
hundreds of thousands of women say that he's attractive, so you can't say he's not attractive.
You can't say some people. You know, that's a male's kryptonite sometimes too. The sex performance
They
or
could
the
say that.
size.
They could say that, but what
But clearly, you were there.
women always default to that.
Yeah. Oh, it's small. It's
You
trash.
said I was there for that.
No. I'm saying like all those women that were there like with him. Like
Oh,
they were
oh,
there.
because they collectively,
They experienced it, so it couldn't have been that bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're upset clearly, so it couldn't
Yeah.
have been that bad. They wouldn't be chasing after him if it was that
And I
bad.
wonder how much of that is that a huge ego boost to guys? It is, right? The sex performance. Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
that's like probably the
That's
ego
probably
boost.
especially if it's something you can't control. Like if your thing is small, like you can't control that. So that's
Yeah,
sad.
and I obviously we definitely can't judge that part of him, but you've
Yeah.
had hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of women say this person's attractive. He has millions of dollars, all the fame in the world.
Yeah.
So all of those different things that tend to work on normal humans, like, oh, you're broke, you're this, you're that. In his situation, obviously, you can't really say those type of things. So
Yeah.
this is probably one of the only ways it's like not, it's going to be harder the more
Yeah.
elite of a person that you mess with. It's going to be harder
To
to
get
shit
that
on
off.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's crazy. I actually have no idea about the situation. I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, look into it and then we'll come back. I didn't do my journalistic research. I don't know why they were all on the stage together. I don't even know who some of these women were. I think one of them was famous. I don't know.
That's
I didn't
wild.
look into it, but yeah,
These type of situations just make me happy. I'm sorry. I'm so
happy that you got me
congested.
right.
And it's not being
Yeah,
a date. It's not being in a dating pool because it's like I feel like my life perspective would be so much different if I was actually in a dating pool. Like
so jaded.
I have such a jaded mindset of relationships and men because of just my situation. But man, I just sometimes I'm like, dang, like I always wonder who I would be as a person if I was out in this dating pool. Like I would probably be a mess.
I have a theory, but we
What
can't
you
say it
think
on
I would be
camera.
like all these other birds and like, oh
I don't want
man,
to say it on camera because it's gonna sound nuts. But
I mean, who knows? Maybe my perspective. I'm so see two sides and I defend men a lot because I feel like I know a good man. But that's the thing. People who hate men, they just know a lot of bad men. So that's their perspective is men are bad. My perspective is men are good because I know a good man. I feel like if you have perspective of seeing both sides of good and bad, then you know that there's both existing.
I'm not a great man.
I think you are now. I think you haven't always been. I don't think anybody's born great. I think people grow into being great. I don't think I've always been a great woman. So I think you are now, but I don't think you always been.
You were a horrible woman.
I wasn't. I don't think I was ever horrible.
Well, I'm saying just how I feel. I
Okay,
think you were horrible until like last week.
last week.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think I think I've always was good, and then I had situations that turned me bad, and I had moments that turned me bad. But I think I've always been great at my core. I had good intentions. I think people just made me turn into a person I didn't want to be.
I agree with that.
Because I came in very naive, I'm a very naive, happy-go-lucky person thinking the best of everybody, and then I got a cloud over me because people made me turn into a mean person. Because I just protected myself. At the end of the day, I only become mean when I'm protecting myself. I'm protecting something when I become mean. Whether it's my heart, whether it's my emotions, whether it's my feelings.
So your heart.
Yeah. But I think at my core, I've always been a good person. Just wanted to be liked, wanted peace and harmony. And then situations turn me into.
What are some of these situations?
I'm not going to get into details.
Okay, let's move on.